Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing today on this Thursday, December the 16th, 2021? Thank you for joining me here tonight for another metallic episode of Music of Destruction. Bringing you guys the very best in metal-related content right here on YouTube on the only metal channel you guys are going to need. If you missed anything in the past week, click that eye in the upper right corner of the screen. Everything you need to get caught up on all my latest videos should be popping up there. I would certainly appreciate it. If you want me to review anything, make suggestions in the comment section below. Slam, deathcore, metalcore, modern tech death. Fuck right off. Remember, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss anything. You're looking at one of the hardest working metal channels on the platform. Nobody's going to give it to you as brutally honest, upfront, controversial, or opinionated as myself. If you can't handle that, click the X and fuck off. I couldn't care less. Welcome to Top 15 Thursdays here on the channel, and tonight we're going deep beneath the earth for a special episode that I'm sure many of you are going to love, and I'll be doing similar videos in the future. Doing my top 15s from each country will continue as well, but I also want to offer some variety in these top 15s as well. So tonight I am doing my top 15 debut metal albums. Yes, folks, this one's going to be fucking awesome. I'm sure many of you were asking or wondering when I was going to get around to doing a video like this. So with that in mind, these are all debut albums from my own personal collection, and I have reviewed them here on the channel. I also want to do top 15s of releases from different years and eras, so there's going to be no shortage of top 15s coming in the future, and I will be doing top 15s from each country as well, but I do want to, change things up and stuff here on the channel. Anyway, so let's just get into it, shall we? Coming in at number 15, we have Sadistic Execution, The Magus, released in 1991 on Vampire Records, death black metal. This album to me has so much to offer a new fan of death and black metal. This is one of the albums that really set the bar and raised the stakes for black death metal. Really powerful, compelling album, very evil, dark, atmospheric, occult, and fucking vicious, okay? This isn't an album for easy listeners. And I remember being immediately floored by Sadistic Execution's The Magus, and to me, they're one of the top bands in this death black metal genre, and I absolutely fucking love Sadistic Execution. That's why they made number 15 with The Magus. Coming in at number 14, we have Metallica with Kill 'Em All, released in 1983 on Megaforce Records, one of the pioneering thrash metal albums, okay, along with Show No Mercy, Bonded by Blood, as well as Sepultura's Morbid Visions, many others. But, of course, Metallica's Kill 'Em All was one of the pioneering thrash metal albums, and I know I did a poll recently about who you guys think pioneered thrash metal, and it was a very good poll, got a lot of mixed results, but Metallica's Kill 'Em All, let's face it, one of the pioneering thrash metal albums, if not the album that pioneered thrash metal. I love it to death. Metallica's Kill 'Em All gets number 14. Coming in at number 13, we have Marduk with Fuck Me Jesus, released in 1991 independently, has seen many reissues. I do have the one from 1999 from Osmos Productions on CD. This is the pioneering fucking band of Swedish black metal. This is the album that started it all for Swedish black metal. And I know Dark Endless was their very first official release, but this one was a demo that had additional tracks and covers added to it, so I do consider this an official release. This album set the precedent for so much fucking black metal that would come after it. This is just 3 years after Mayhem released Death Crush, and I think this album pays a lot of homage to bands like Bathory, of course, and Mayhem, and you can certainly hear those influences all over this fucking album. Marduk's Fuck Me Jesus is a timeless masterpiece, gets number 13. Coming in at number 12, Sepultura with Morbid Visions, released in 1986 on Cogumelo Records, death thrash metal. This is the album that started it all, along with Sarcophagus INRI, for Brazilian metal, okay? This is a death thrash metal masterpiece that's dark, compelling, emotional, convicted, powerful, and just so fucking great. It's my favorite Sepultura album, and I know they've had many great releases after this, but this one to me is one of the most solid debut fucking albums to ever be released, especially coming from South America. I mean, it's Sepultura's Morbid Visions. How the fuck can you go wrong? Gets number 12. Coming in at number 11, we have Grave Into the Grave, released in 1991 on Century Media Records, one of the pioneering bands, along with Entombed and Dismember, of Swedish fucking death metal. This album has it all. This is an OSDM classic, borrowing stuff from bands like Autopsy, Incantation, Immolation, and stuff like that. I can hear a lot of those influences, but it is definitely European and Swedish. And rest in peace to LG Petrov of Entombed, Graves Into the Grave. I had to make this list. I need to get Left Hand Path from Entombed, but Grave is one of my favorite bands, and they added a degree of groove to their death metal, and this fucking album you cannot go wrong with. Graves Into the Grave gets number 11. Coming in at number 10, Ahab with Call of the Wretched Sea, or The Call of the Wretched Sea, released in 2006 on Napalm Records, funeral doom metal, with such a compelling atmosphere that you cannot stop listening to this. This is not a funeral doom, and it has to do with Ahab's quest to slay the great Moby Dick. Foreboding, dark, lost, marooned, very depressing in a lot of ways, but also just extremely terrifying. This is one of the most powerful funeral doom releases of all time, and its atmosphere is immaculate. Okay, if you haven't heard Ahab's The Call of the Wretched Sea, I'm recommending it to you right now. Go out and pick this one up. Number 10, Ahab, The Call of the Wretched Sea, funeral doom metal fucking masterpiece. Make sure you grab it. Coming in at number 9, Leviathan with the 10th sub-level of Suicide, released in 2003 on Moribund Records. One of the pioneering bands of DSBM, along with Judas Iscariot, Streed, Burzum, and bands like that, Zaster. Of course, you had I Shall Become, but the 10th sub-level of Suicide really set a new precedent and raised that bar for United States depressive black metal, and it's a very memorable album. It's my favorite Leviathan release, one that I find myself coming back to over and over and over. It's so fucking amazing. Rest's pain, aggression, and hatred is encapsulated on this album to its fullest extent. He does have other great albums. However, this one to me is one of the best standout debuts in black metal. Number 9, Leviathan, the 10th sub-level of Suicide. Coming in at number 8, we have Zaster with Nocturnal Poisoning, released in 2002 on Bloodfire Death Records, DSBM. Now, Zaster is a whole other ball of wax, although Leviathan and Zaster have done a split album together. I find Zaster's music is a lot more rooted in funeral doom, especially when it comes to aesthetic, atmosphere, emotion. It's not as fast as Leviathan. It's a lot slower. It's got a darker tonality, but don't get me wrong, Leviathan's just as dark. But Zaster really knows how to paint that gray-black abyss of complete suicidal despair, and it is hanging all over this album like a fucking cloak that you cannot take off. It is one of the best DSBM albums of all time. Zaster's Nocturnal Poisoning gets number 8. Coming in at number 7, Acid Bath, When the Kite String Pops, released in 1994 on Rotten Records. Sludge doom metal. I know I Hate Gods, Take As Needed for Pain is one of the best sludge metal albums, but to me this album right here defines sludge fucking metal in so many goddamn ways. I know I Hate Gods up there as well for you guys, as well as Down and stuff, but if you listen to Acid Bath When the Kite String Pops, you're going to know what that southern New Orleans, Louisiana bayou swamp metal sounds like. That's what you get with this. There is some doom metal repetition and atmospherics here, but it's mostly rooted in that psychedelic, nightmarish, misanthropic sludge that we've all come to know and love. And Acid Bath are fucking gods. Rest in peace to Ade Petrie, who, if he was still around, Acid Bath would probably still be making great music. But this is one of the best debuts. Number 7, Acid Bath, When the Kite String Pops. Coming in at number 6, Cryptopsy, Blasphemy Made Flesh, released in 1994 on Invasion Records. Brutal technical death metal, though I'd hardly call it technical. Yeah, it is technical in a way, but this is one of the most sonic, intense, aggressive, brutal fucking albums of all time. It set the benchmark for so many bands that would come after it, including Nile, but Nile had albums out as well. But Nile and Cryptopsy to me are two of the best brutal death metal bands of all time. But Cryptopsy, man, they've got something special that you know is authentically Canadian, especially with Lord Worm on the vocals. But this album has the most filthy, disgusting production for a brutal death metal album, and it is one of the best debut albums of all fucking time. If you haven't heard it, while you're still sitting here after the video, go listen to Cryptopsy's Blasphemy Made Flesh. It is my favorite Cryptopsy album. I know a lot of people think None So Vile is better. Not my opinion. This is their crowning jewel. Coming in at number 5, Autopsy with Severed Survival, released in 1989 on Peaceville Records, one of the pioneering albums of death metal, along with Scream Bloody Gore, Morbid Angels, Altars of Madness, of course Possessed, Seven Churches, Necrophagia, Seasons of the Dead, but then you had Autopsy, Severed Survival, and this album pushed the fucking boundaries of this genre. You got a little bit of thrash metal elements in there still, but this is authentically first fucking wave death metal. One of my favorite goddamn albums of all fucking time, and a timeless classic that will never be duplicated or done again. So many bands could learn from Autopsy when it comes to modern death metal that it's not even funny, and I feel like Autopsy really helped to set the precedent for many bands that would come after. This is a fucking masterpiece. Autopsy's Severed Survival gets number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4, Bathory with their self-titled, released in 1984 on Black Mark Productions. This is the album, to me, that started it all for black metal. And I know a lot of people, well, what about Venom's black metal? No, Venom is not black metal. Get the fuck over it. Celtic Frost, not black metal in my opinion. They had black metal aesthetics and a little bit of those ingredients, but Celtic Frost to me were still thrash, and Merciful Fate is just heavy metal with fucking face paint, okay? Not to take anything away from those bands helping to form the genre, but to me, Bathory are the epitome of the origins of black metal, and this album, the self-titled, set that mark, that benchmark for so many bands that would come after. This is an absolute must-own and a masterpiece and an essential piece of your collection if you're a fan of black metal. Bathory's self-titled gets number 4. Coming in at number 3, Blasphemy, Fallen Angel of Doom, released in 1990 on Wild Rags Records. The first war metal album of all time, right here. Okay, I know Archgoat formed a little bit earlier. I know they formed in 89. I think Blasphemy formed in 87 or 86. But this is the defining war metal album. This is the war metal album that fucking started it all for the genre. Extreme, passionate, convicted, evil, dark, and fucking destructive is what this album is. And this band knew how to encapsulate those ideas and those visions and put them forth in one of the most violently brutal albums of all fucking time, with nothing but chaos for an atmosphere. This is a goddamn masterpiece. Blasphemy's Fallen Angel of Doom gets number 3. Coming in at number 2, a brand new album, Melgoth Glory Through Savagery, released in 2021 on Iron Bonehead Productions, black death metal or war metal from Canada. Melgoth have literally taken what Blasphemy did on Fallen Angel of Doom and cranked it to fucking 20, in my opinion. This is one of the most aggressive, sonic, intense, heavy, brutal, dark, evil fucking albums of all time that is just dripping with hatred and misanthropy and destruction and chaos and war. Okay, this is the sound of savagery encapsulated in a goddamn metal album, and Melgoth have a very promising future if they continue along this path as was set by their EP Primordial Dawn, and then you've got Glory Through Savagery. There's nothing but good things ahead for this fucking band, and Melgoth Glory Through Savagery, one of the best debut albums of all time, gets number 2 on my list. Coming in at number 1, Possessed with Seven Churches. That's right, folks. The death metal album that started it all for one of the most extreme subgenres in history. A lot of people are going to say this is a death thrash metal album, and I will agree. There are those thrash metal ingredients, but if you listen to those riffs and those lyrics, this is fucking death metal, released in 1985 on Combat Records. Hail Jeff Becerra, man. The godfather of the genre. I know a lot of people will cite Chuck from Death, and that's fine. But again, you have to remember, Possessed started it all. Jeff Becerra had told me in my interview with him on my old channel that Chuck actually asked him for permission to make death metal. That is fact. You can ask Jeff yourself if you don't believe me. This is one of the best debut metal albums of all time. My favorite fucking debut metal album of all time has got to be Possessed, Seven Churches. It did so much in 1985 that many bands weren't doing. It was the heaviest fucking record in 1985, in my humble opinion, along with, of course, you got all the other greats. But this one really set that bar for extremity and created fucking death metal. So make sure, if you haven't picked up Possessed Seven Churches, go and get it right now. One of the best debut albums of all time. Alright, so there you have it, guys. Another top 15 in the books here on Music of Destruction. I hope you guys enjoyed the premiere. If you're new, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Teespring.com/music-of-destruction for merch there. Bonfire patreon.com/store/music of destruction. New designs going up this weekend. Girlfriend's helping me with some new designs. Thank you very much, Janelle. I love you. If you want to help out on Patreon, I'd really appreciate it. The Seed episode 34, the history of the Les Legions Noir, is up there right now. Patreon.com/music of destruction. $5 a month. Get you access. Going to be working on the history of Cryptopsy for my next podcast because they're one of my favorite bands, obviously, so that's coming up. Colton James and myself finished our first movie review for Alien from 1979. Go on over to Beyond the Big Screen movie and game review and subscribe right now. We'd appreciate it. Going to be working on Aliens from 1986. Going to be part 2 of our Alien trilogy. That's coming up very soon. We're going to be working on that this weekend. We're going to be putting that out as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video. We will see you for Metal Album Warfare Fridays. Cheers, stay fucking metal. See you guys in the next video.